welcome to the first lecture of module 5. In this module, we will discuss distillation. Distillation is a method of separation of the more volatile component, separation of more volatile component from the less volatile one. Of a solution by partial vaporization. So, this partial vaporizations was done from the original solutions as another phase. The vapor phase is generated by partial vaporization, and then there is condensation of the vapor to get the desired product. This distillation is most widely used separation method for the liquid mixture, and the very common examples are organic process industries, like ethanol water separation, aniline and nitrobenzene separation, this is also most common in petroleum refinery, and there are many other industries which uses the distillation as a process for separations of the liquid mixtures, where the liquid mixtures contains the more volatile components and the less volatile components. A typical distillation column is look like this. This is tray columns where the heat which is entered at some point on the tower in between the tire, either middle or at some points, and feed is preheated and then fed to the tower. There is a reboiler at the bottom of the tower which boils the liquid, or it vaporizes the liquid partially, and then the vapor flows up. So, vapor this goes up, and then vapor leaves at the top, and there is a overhead condenser, and then it reaches to the distributor. We call it reflux drum, which separates the vapor and liquid mixture. A part of the condensate from this reflux drum is recycled back at the top, and rest is taken as the product. So, the liquid fall down or flow towards down, and there is intimate contact between the vapor and the liquid on each tray. So, more volatile components moves from liquid in this process. The more volatile component from the liquid phase to the transferred to the vapor phase, and the less volatile components moves from the vapor phase to the liquid phase. The concentration of the less volatile increases in the liquid as it flows towards down, and the concentration of the more volatile increases in the vapor phase. So, a higher degree of separation of the more volatiles from the less volatile is achieved. The top product which we got over here as a overhead product is rich in more volatile component. Component rich, and the bottom product which is termed as the bottoms is the rich in less volatile. So, now the distillation process, which is an equilibrium stage operation process, it requires the vapor liquid equilibrium and physicochemical properties of the systems to solve this equilibrium stage operation. The distribution of the two components is governed by the vapor liquid equilibrium relationship. Distribution of the components among the phases depends on the VLE vapor liquid equilibrium relationship. So, here we will only consider the binary mixtures. So, this equilibrium data we can obtain from experiments, we can also obtain from thermodynamics, it is typically represented by the equilibrium diagram. VLE data is represented by equilibrium diagram, and there like T, X, Y diagram, temperature, mole fractions in the liquid phase and mole fraction in the vapor phase of the more volatile components. So, we call it TXY diagram or PXY diagram, and the liquid and vapor compositions are related with the XY diagram, and enthalpy mole fractions relationship is represented by enthalpy concentration diagram, HXY diagram. So, now we will consider TXY diagram. It is a constant pressure binary equilibrium diagram. If boiling point is plotted versus liquid composition, X is the liquid composition, then we call it bubble point curve. Now, if we plot boiling point versus Y then it is dew point curve. A typical bubble point and dew point curve is plotted over here. So, the upper curve here, this is the Ty curve or the dew point curve, that is, each point on this curve represents the saturated vapor, and the below line, which is the Tx or bubble point curve. So, here the composition x or y, these are represented in terms of the mole fractions. X, y represented in terms of the mole fraction of the more volatile component. X is in the liquid phase and y in the vapor phase. The less volatile component would be 1 minus x and 1 minus y. For any given temperature and composition, for a given temperature and composition, this curve tells us the composition of each phase of that mixture. Composition on each phase of that mixture. Suppose the point L over here, this gives the equilibrium liquid phase composition X and corresponding vapor phase composition at G, and this line LG is known as the tie line. So, we can draw such an infinite number of tie lines in this region, and as I said, the point on the lower curve represents the, or at L represents the saturated liquid, and points at G represents the saturated vapor. The region below this red line, which is saturated liquid, below that is known as the liquid region, and above the blue line is represents the vapor region. And the region between these two, bubble point and dew point, is known as the two phase region. Say a mixture at point S on the tie line of LG represents the two phase mixture which has the liquid composition at L and vapor composition at G, and the proportion can be obtained, or the relative amount can be obtained from the segments of these tie lines, segments S, L and S G. Moles of L by moles of G, we can write line S G by line Ls. Now, if we consider a liquid at point E in a closed vessel and kept at constant pressure, say 1 atmosphere. Now, if the solution is heated, then the first drop of vapor will form at O, and it has the composition at P. It will have the composition at P, which is richer in more volatile components. If we continue to heat, it will follow Ex line, and the liquid line will follow O to U, and it will give the vapor composition at V. But the compositions of the entire mass will still be remain as at E. So, the mole fraction of the more volatile in the residual liquid decreases and the boiling point of the mixture continues to increase. The last drop of vapor, which is vaporizes at point X and has the composition and boiling point, which is represented by W. When all the liquid is vaporized, the vapor must have a composition equal to the initial E, initial liquid composition at E. Now, if no further heating is done, then the final state of vapor is given by point X, which is on the vertical line between from E to X. If we further heat this solution, then the temperature will rise along the vertically through EF. We call it superheating. So, in this case, we can see the mixture is vaporized from the liquid to the vapor in the temperature region between O to X. This is the temperature region where the liquid is vaporized. Except pure substance, the boiling point of a solution does not have any meaning, because the solution vaporizes over a temperature range. Which is starting from bubble point to the dew point. The bubble and dew point curves meets at point DB and at point DA. Point DB represents the boiling point of pure B at a given pressure. And point DA is the boiling point of pure A. Now, if some amount of superheated vapor, say at point S, superheated vapor at point S is cooled at constant pressure. What will happen? It will follow the same path in the reverse directions. For examples, condensation will start at X on the dew point curve, and the vapor composition will change along XP line. So, when the entire vapor is condensed and then liquid is again cooled, so it will reach the domain at E, which is subcooled. So, the equilibrium diagram for XY mole fractions is also plotted below the bubble point and dew point curves. So, this line represents the equilibrium curve XY diagram, and below this is the 45-degree line or diagonal line where x is equal to y. So, the XY diagram can also be plotted from TXY diagram. By picking a temperature and then corresponding y and x can be read from this. The point M, which is xy on the XY curve, represents to the tie line corresponding to the tie line LG on the TXY diagram. Since here y is greater than x, the mole fractions of the more volatile component is more, the equilibrium line lies above the diagonal. So, if the distance or the separations between the diagonal line and the equilibrium line is larger, then separation is better. So, the envelope made by equilibrium line and diagonal this is fat, then separation by distillation is easier. Now, we will see the constant temperature binary equilibrium diagram. So, this is the plot where the total vapor pressure exerted by the solution at equilibrium depends on its composition. At a lower concentration of certain components, the mixture will exert lower vapor pressure. The typical plot is shown over here, where y-axis represents P millimeter Hg and this x is the mole fractions of more volatile components x and y. The horizontal line Lg represents the tie line. The terminal points L and G, these are the liquid and vapor phase concentration of certain components at equilibrium, of more volatile components at equilibrium. The region below this curve, Pxy curve, this is Pxy curve at constant T. Below this blue line represents the vapor region, above this red line represents the liquid region, and in between these two line represents the two phase region. Suppose if we consider a liquid, an amount of vapor at location R, superheated vapor at a given temperature now is compressed. Isothermally, the vapor will start condensing and it reaches the point at point G, where the first drop of liquid will form at point G and we will have the composition at L. Now, if we further compress, more vapor condenses and the composition of the accumulated condensate liquid changes along Ls. The compositions of the liquid changes along Ls. The composition of the vapor changes along Gs. Composition of liquid changes along Ls and composition of vapor changes along Gs dash. Now, at a pressure corresponding to this point S, the vapor condenses completely. Now, the liquid compositions will have the same compositions of the original vapor which is at R. If the vapor pressure is raised further, the liquid may be considered subcooled and it will follow the line through SF. The equilibrium composition to the tie line Lg is represented by Qp. This is the equilibrium composition on the XY diagram, and the two phase region Txy or Pxy, this narrows down two-phase region on TXY or PXY diagram narrows down with increase in temperature and pressure. And disappears at the critical point. Now, we will discuss phase rule and ideal VLE. If two phases are not in equilibrium, then the transfer of mass from one phase to the other phase will be proportional to the driving force, which is the departure from the equilibrium. In most of the cases which involves equilibrium, two phases are generally involved. This may be two phases, gas liquid, liquid, solid liquid, and so on. The important variables which affects this equilibrium is the temperature, pressure and concentration. Temperature, pressure and concentration. Parameters or variables affects equilibrium. The equilibrium between the phases for a given situation is restricted by phase rule. And it states that F is equal to C minus P plus 2, where F is the number of variables or degrees of freedom. F is the degrees of freedom, C is the number of total components in the two phases, number of total components in the two phases, when there is no chemical reaction, and P is the number of phase, number of phases. So, if we considered a simple example of sulfur dioxide and air water system, then phases are two components, 3, and considering air as single component, then we can write F is equal to C minus P plus 2, which is 3 minus 2 plus 2 is equal to 3. This means that it has 3 variants or 3 degrees of freedom. If the total total pressure and temperature are set, then the third variable that is the concentration of sulfur dioxide can be arbitrarily set. So, the phase rule does not tell us the partial pressure in that equations with the selected mole fractions. So, the partial pressure must be determined experimentally. This thing can be simplified if we consider the ideal behavior or the ideal solutions. The three ways we can define or can be related: one is Raoult's law, second is relative volatility, and third is equilibrium coefficients. The Raoult's law relates with the vapor liquid compositions of a mixture to the pure component vapor pressure and system pressures. So, we can write Y Pt is equal to X PV, where Y is the mole fractions in the vapor phase, Pt is the total pressure, and X is the mole fractions in the liquid phase, and PV is the vapor pressure. This is so, consider the binary mixture where say A and B, we can write the partial pressure PA is equal to X into PAV, and PB partial pressure of B we can write 1 minus X into PBV. So, PA and PB, these are the partial pressures of A and B. PAV and PBV are the vapor pressure of A and B at the given temperature. We can write PT is equal to PA plus PB is equal to X PAV plus 1 minus X PBV. So, this will give PA by PT would be equal to X PAV by PT, or we can write YA PT is equal to X PAV. These equations can be used to calculate the vapor liquid equilibrium data for an ideal binary mixture. Now, we will discuss the relative volatility. The greater the distance from the equilibrium curve and the diagonal curve, the greater the difference in the liquid and vapor composition, easier to separate by distillation. One numerical measure for this is the relative volatility. Relative volatility is defined as the ratio of A and B in one phase to that in the other phase. So, we can write alpha, which is the relative volatility, can be written as y by 1 minus y divided by x by 1 minus x, which we can write y into 1 minus x divided by x into 1 minus y. So, this can be rearranged and we can write y is equal to x alpha divided by 1 plus x into alpha minus 1. So, the relative volatility alpha is not strong function of temperature, then the component vapor pressure. So, it can be assumed constant over a temperature range and composition. So, higher values of alpha, higher the separation. If alpha is 1, then the separation is not possible. Separation is not possible. In the next class, we will discuss the examples on how to use relative volatility and Raoult's law to determine the TXY diagram. Thank you.